Today feels like the first day of spring. Steel, yeah. Hello, I'm Griffiths, welcome to Brooding Griffith. Here we talk everything beekeeping, farming, countryside living, and we do reviews as well. Now we are starting the beekeeping for this week. I got Andy with me. Hello. And we are at the home nuke yard, starting the day off here. Now basically we've got a few jobs. I went round, well funny enough, just lifted a couple of lids up here the other day when I was feeding the cows. And some of them had already gone through all their fondant, so a lot of these nukes have sold. We can't afford them to die out or starve out now, so we're going to be checking the feeds, and if anything is strong on single box, we are going to double brood it today. Now it is early to do that, and I wouldn't really recommend people to do it, but in the situation we're in, all the work starts off together and then you can't do everything at the perfect time. So sometimes you've got to do stuff a little bit early to be ahead of yourselves. So the nukes normally would be the first to swarm if we don't give them room, because they're only on 6 frames with a fantastic queen. They're ready to burst, so we don't want that to happen. So that's what we're going to do today. And anything we double brood is going to get this brand new syrup. Where the UK stock is for this now, Appenwurst from Zucken in Germany, and then fondant if something is only on, say, I don't know, 3-4 frames and they don't need an extra box, and we don't want to give them syrup, we can give them fondant instead. Now this time of year there's no right or wrong way of doing this. Syrup is fine at this time of year, and fondant is still perfectly fine as well. But if you are going to double brood, especially if you're giving them new frames, then syrup is the only option then. You can mix sugar and water yourself now. I mean, we're not going to this month. We'll wait for it to really start warming up, then we'll start mixing. But for all of this month and maybe half of next month, we'll be on the syrup before we change over to start mixing sugar ourselves. Right, there's nothing else to say. That's what we're doing. We're not actually pulling any frames out today. There's 3 nuke yards we want to do today, so criteria, I don't know, 150 nukes, something like that. Is it? Not quite. No, not quite, maybe.
A bit more than that. More than that.
Well, that kind of number. Yeah. We won't do the Langstroth today, but that kind of number we're going to try and do today. And then tomorrow we'll head up Cardigan. There's 1 nuke yard up there with around 50. We'll do that tomorrow. So by the time the 2 days are up, we would have done around 200 plus nukes. That's the plan. And then Friday it's going to rain and we'll be packing orders Friday. Now there is a new job going at Brooding Griffith. The 5th member of the team, we're looking for someone to be a warehouse to help us pack the beekeeping supplies, because we're coming into the spring and summer now, and me and Andy, we're going to be basically full-time beekeeping. We're going to have a go at rearing queens this year too, so there'll be some new videos going out to see if we can make our own queens. I don't know, we're not going to be doing it on any kind of scale, but we'd like to make, I don't know, if we can make 100 queens, 50 to 100 queens in the first year, and for them to be good ones, I think that would be a successful first year, because, we spend a lot of money on queens. If we can reduce costs here and there by producing some of our own, then we will. Right, that's enough talking. Let's look at some bees, and oh, look at these cows. They're just chewing the truck up to bits. And that's why the Ford Raptor that's here at the minute, that's why we don't use that for beekeeping. We've tried to get them in the corral, and they don't want to go in, and you can't blame them. They're in the sacrificial field at the minute. They came out the shed a few weeks ago. It's been too warm and dry to lock them back in, so I decided we lock them up in the field. We'll put a big bale there. We'll give them cake every day, and a lot less work for me, and they enjoy it a lot more. Normally, if it was real spring and the grass was growing, we just move the cows out there and shut the gate. But today, unfortunately, we just gotta shout at them for the next half hour, stop them chewing bits off the truck. Right, that's the joys of farming and bee farming. Back to farming. Oh, Andy, run down and shut that gate quick, they're all in there. Will Andy get in there now and shut them all in there. Yeah, look at that. Yellowstone Andy's done it before. Right, good. Stress-free beekeeping now. Let's look at some bees. Right, we'll start down here. Oh, now that's interesting. So we got a note here, it said fermented syrup. So the bees, they didn't really take the syrup. There's decent weight to it, it's not going to starve out. Wow.
Whoa.
Look at this.
That is wild comb if you ever saw it.
How on earth have they had food to draw that up? I guess going to bring that yellow pollen in. They're bursting at the seams on the outside. Right, now then. Right, this is the kind of nuke now we're going to double brood, but unfortunately we haven't got any more maize more double brood, so we need to contact maize more. We need to get a pallet of their double broods, because we're going to have to make a note of this now. This may need to be moved into a full-size hive in the next 2 weeks, because these will just swarm on us. They're not going to swarm on us anytime soon. Let's have a look, see how much room. And look at that. That is, I mean, you could sell this now. This is, it's almost too full to ship. Some kind of new clean honey coming in here. Pollen coming in. Now this is a Rob Wilson queen. The reason I know is because of that queen cage, and it'll say Rob Wilson on the brick, but they're the only queens we got off in a JZBZ, I think they're called, cage. So I mean, the temperament on these bees are pretty good too.
Yeah, really nice. They're not interesting enough at all.
So, well, there's nothing we can do here now, Andy. I don't want to feed them because they've got enough, but this needs to be transferred into a bigger hive in the next 2 weeks. 100%. Let's have a look what's on this fur comb. No eggs. But yeah, if we don't sort something like this out, they're going to swarm on us. So we'll put the brick on an upright position, which will let me and Andy know we flagged this one. That it needs to go in a box. We just lit this and we're not using it enough, and we're losing the smoke, so we just gotta give it loads of smoke so it doesn't go out. When you've got nasty bees, your smoker keeps in all the time because you're on it all the time. But when we're using these nukes, they're pretty docile. So there's another one of Rob Wilson ones we can see by the cage, covering all the frames. So this is something we want to double brood it. This will take the pressure off swarming. We can basically, nothing is going to swarm. I mean, nothing's going to swarm in March anyway. But once you start getting to the middle of April, if they're rammed, then they will. And we start selling these nukes next month. so we don't want anything to go before that, or even build queen cells before we ship them. Now, this is the new product, what we've got to sell, and this is Happy Invert from Zuzukan. This is the bag in the box version. Very nice packaging, and when we finish with this drum, the cardboard goes in the bin. Break the plastic up into a little bag, that goes in with the recycling, and job done. It's a lot less waste, a lot less plastic waste, and just like I don't know, like an orange juice can, peel that off, and we're ready to pour. We've got a handle on the back here, and if you come round where I am, we're gonna pour that in.
And a really nice pourer on it as well. That can be a trouble sometimes, but that really directs that syrup.
Only one hand. That'll do. A little bit more, a little bit less than a full feed. That stick is going to come up. Now the reason I fed so much, normally I would have given that half a feed. But they've only got 2 frames of half drawn. The rest of the frames in here are brand new frames of foundation. They look a bit older, but that's just a bit of dampness that got to them in storage. They'll be perfect. So basically, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to transfer that syrup into fully drawn, brand new frames, and the queen will lay all that egg, and then basically when me and Andy come to sell these nukes, we'll probably take, as long as the queen is up here, drawn this, laid it, we'll sell this nuke with some brand new frames as well. So everything will be as good as you can get when we sell these nukes. But if I were to just put this double brood box on this nuke now and not feed it, then nothing, this exercise would be basically for nothing. It'll take them ages to draw those out because there's no big honey flow on. But you watch, when we come back here now next month to take bees out of these boxes to sell, this top box, I guarantee you, will be fully drawn, laid up and full of brood. So that's it. You know what, first time using that 16 kilo bag in a box. I really like it. Now you talk to anybody in Europe, Germany, where this feed is made, it's highly rated. I think it's one of the best selling feeds in Europe, and hopefully we'll make it one of the best selling feeds in the UK if you guys like it. First impressions, I like it, but I'll let you know as the season goes on. What do you got there, Andy?
So we've got one that is another candidate for a double brood. So they're already across all the frames. They are on the other side of the feeder, and they're actually inside the feeder as well. They've eaten all their fondants. They've got good stores still. Because we don't have a maize more box right now, I don't want to give them any more feed, because if I give them feed, they will start absolutely pumping it out. They'll fill up that box, the queen can't lay, and then we haven't got a box for them. So I'm going to leave them as they are because they have got stores. Like, there's a reasonable weight to it still. We'll get a maize more box on, and then we'll pump them full of syrup then.
And whose queen is that one?
That one again, that is another Rob Wilson queen. You can see the cage there. We only get queens in that cage from Rob Wilson.
Well, I tell you what, Rob, you were having a shout out this video. We need to find some different nukes to give other people a shout out. You're nicking the whole video so far. But fairness to you, Rob, queen's looking really good, and the bees are fantastic. Well done. Here's an interesting one. If you look at it, look at this, you think this is not looking that good, and it's not. And there's a good reason for that. This was a swarm. Now, we don't go collecting swarms. We used to do a lot of it, not anymore. But look how small this is. I think this was a cast swarm as well. I mean, it's a miracle it's still alive. I can still see there's fondant down the feeder. But these bees, you know, they're probably like a locally type bee. You can see they're a bit smaller, a bit darker. These types of bees They take a lot longer to grow and develop compared to these other buckfast bees. Where these buckfast bees, you can see they're filling the boxes up already, and we're putting another box on feeding. These, what I would call Welsh locally adapted type bees, they need an extra month really to reach that level. Nothing wrong with that. When the spring is cold and wet, this is an advantage, and you can see how small they are. These have probably eaten half the feed as the other buckfast. So there's pros and cons. This one, because it was a swarm, we're not going to sell. This is something that'll be used to backfill some of our sites. But I just thought interesting to show that now, something which was a swarm, and you know, we put it in a nuke box and brought it into the nuke yard to winter it, and it's come through the winter okay. I mean, I guarantee you there's a queen in there. In a month's time, that box will look fantastic, but it doesn't look fantastic right now. So a bit of transparency in the video, you know, not all our nukes look amazing. This is again a Rob Wilson queen. Now this is nowhere near as good as what we've seen down there. They're probably still okay. There's brood in here. For whatever reasons, these are a little bit smaller going through the winter. Maybe the queen is on the way out, we don't know yet. But you know, no matter where you get your queens, you'll always get some that don't perform like you'd like, but it's nobody's fault. We're dealing with nature. Queens get mated out in the wild, you can't control that. So you know, never be too hard on where you buy your queens from, because it's not anybody's fault. This is what happens in nature. We'll probably give this a little bit of feed now, boost it up, and they should come okay. They've survived this long, so I'm guessing they'll be fine. But it's the same. You could buy a cow today, and next week it could be belly up in the field. Nobody's fault. We're all dealing with nature. So, but I just didn't want you thinking all my bees are bursting at the seams, because they're not.
So I was just saying to Griff now, this is our first time really using the Appy invert bag in a box in the wild, and I'm so impressed with how it pours. Whenever you use a drum, it's very difficult to guide it and to control it into the feeder, but this is very directional because of the spout, and it just makes your life so much easier. I really like this. This is really good.
Here's one. He's not touched this fondant really. They're chewing at it now. Four frames of bees. They'll be fine for a couple of weeks. We won't flag this up as needing another box just yet.
Let's have a look what's inside. Okay, so they're a bit in the top box. They haven't made loads of use of it yet.
And they're covering
2-3 frames. There's some stores in there, but in the end frame here hasn't totally been drawn yet. So let's see what's in the bottom. Okay, so that's pretty busy. They're across every frame. There we go. So we want to just incentivize them to keep going, draw out that last frame. Normally what you'd need is honey. They use honey to convert that into wax, but there's no forage producing nectar right now in West Wales. So going to simulate that with some Appy inverts. Thank you. So slightly different to the bag in the box, but it is exactly the same stuff, just different packaging. The big lid, which you can also use, if you can see it there, as a bucket feeder. So if you want to use it as a bucket feeder, you just peel the lid back, and it's got all the holes you need. So you just invert the bucket onto the hive over the holes in your crown board, and there's it creates a vacuum in the bucket, so the syrup doesn't trickle out, but the bees come up through the hive and they can just make use of what's available at the holes. But I'm not doing that today. That's for a full-size hive. I'm just going to pour it into this nuke. There we go, just like that. So that'll be enough incentivization to get them really pumping away and get them ready to be sold reasonably soon.
And get them finishing this box up. Nice, Andy, good job. There's a nice one. Northumberland honey, this one. Very nice. Now most of these, you can see us with putting the bricks upright. All the panes, we've got enough double broods. There's no way around it. We're gonna have to either buy a pallet of double broods or put these into bigger hives. Because that is not gonna last 4 weeks like that. Probably not even 3 weeks. Especially if next week is warm. It is light. Oh no, it's not. It's heavy that side. So they've got rid of the feed that side and there's a bit of weight this side. So that one's okay. Ooh, there goes cold. I'm going to give this a kilo of fondant. I don't want to give it syrup. We'll give it fondant. We can't afford anything to die out if the weather does go cold, because that is a big box of bees. Alright, well, that's the first nuke yard done. Looking pretty good there, Andy.
Really good, yeah. Lots of bees survived. One dead out, but that's pretty good, really. They've made that all the way through winter.
Yeah,
and everything's still there.
Not to say that's the only dead out. Obviously, we haven't pulled any frames. There were some smaller, which we showed. I think they're okay. There was pollen coming in, but you can never tell really until another couple of weeks and you start seeing the queen and brood and eggs and everything. But we haven't got time to do that today. One thing we're definitely short of is double broods for the BS and the maize moors. So we need to try our best to get some of them ASAP, or we're gonna just put these in full size hives. But yeah, that's what we're doing for the next 2 days, maybe 3. It depends how we do it. It's taking us a bit longer to do that today. Now it's dinner time, so we probably will be getting the 2 size done after food. We should do. But yeah, we're not going to show you any more of that because we've just done that. Don't want these videos to feel like we're doing the same thing over and over again, even though that's exactly what we're doing. Beekeeping is very repetitive. We just do the same tasks over and over and over again. That's just how it is. Well, that's it for me and Andy. We'll see you in the next video.
See you soon, guys.